Did I get it
I'm
right?
just worried that that might consume my time.
Well, it does. It will take more time, but you're missing two things. One, what is most of what I did in this exercise? Literally, I just read until I understand the core idea of the intro, highlight. If I just did nothing more, maybe I'd have to do a little more just because the paragraphs are so long here. But in many cases, nothing more than the first sentences, just a skim read. So skim read, by definition, I'm probably taking less time, not reading everything. So I'm saving
Is
time, and yet I can pull at least half of what I pulled out just from that. See that? So I
yeah.
would argue it's parallel with skim reading. It's not actually taking more time reading every word. Number two, once you did this, once you have this broad sense, maybe it took a little extra time. Like maybe you read it, and sometimes I read it and I don't like to go back and reread, but sometimes I just kind of go check the progression of ideas paragraph by paragraph. That is a little extra time, but I think that extra time pays for itself. Where does it pay for itself? If I get a specific question, I know immediately where to go to find the answer because I know where the different broad ideas change and where they are. Here's what really saves time. Notice most of the questions, what are they about? They're about those points of change in the paragraphs where the ideas change. But here, like the comparison, well, that area is immediately picked up on a question. So when these things change, this is where they ask questions about. Because where you waste most of your time, I have one last thing to say in answer to your question, because it's an excellent question. Where you waste most of your time is when you're going through a questions answers and you're like, well, could it be this one, could it be this one, well, maybe it's that one, and then you try to read this line, that line, and the truth is you kind of really just missed the big idea. If you had that big idea coming in, you just immediately go to D and that would be the answer or something like that. Okay, so I would argue when you're answering the questions, the little extra time you put in up front for that more than pays for itself in save time answering questions.